let's go, let's go.
2024 is looking to be a very big year for Six Flags, and for Six Flags Fiesta Texas in San Antonio, Texas, they appear to be getting a big addition, considering their park president, Jeffery Siebert, has been posting teasers nearly every day. And with old teasers, many have tried to crack the code and figure out what it all means. And with new teasers suggesting a very interesting addition, that's not what everyone's expecting. In today's video, we're going to find out what it all means before the big announcement in less than 10 days. But before we get into today's video, if you're new here, welcome to the channel for all the thrill seekers. On JB Thrills, make all sorts of content related to theme parks and thrill rides. No matter where it's located or what type of attraction, if it's a thrill, it's covered on this channel. And for those Texas enthusiasts specifically, this is your source of news for all Texas theme parks. So if you're interested, be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell to know when new videos come out of my channel. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into today's video. Ever since July, the teasers for the big addition have continued to ramp up and confuse literally everyone. And just when you think you know what the new attraction is, Jeffery posts another teaser that confuses everyone. But luckily, with all teasers, we do have a few things that are pretty much confirmed. So why not start with what we know? And the very first thing is that a ride will be leaving Fiesta Texas. When the very first teasers came out, it was highly suggesting that one attraction would be leaving Fiesta Texas to make room for another one. And we did have a few options in mind, with the number one suspect being Pandemonium. And that's because Pandemonium has been an old attraction, and compared to most of the quality in the park, Pandemonium is just a regular clone that has lots of space for something a lot better. But clearly that's not going to happen anymore, at least yet. But surprisingly, Batman the Ride was also on that list because a rumor came out that Batman the Ride will be going to Frontier City. And to summarize what I said in a different video, I don't think Batman the Ride will be leaving the park, and that's because the rumor had no basis and came out of nowhere. But we still have to keep it in mind, just in case. The other thing we know is that there's lots of suggestions toward the Boardwalk. Multiple teasers have referenced the Boardwalk, from Pandemonium saying will it stay or will it go, to a teaser with Jeffery Siebert taking pictures of all the upgrades in the Boardwalk and saying how could this connect to what we're going to get next year. Clearly this is more than a coincidence, and the Boardwalk is a big piece of the puzzle as to figuring out what we're getting next year. But more on that later. Next, many have also kept an eye on the SkyScreamer attraction at Fiesta Texas, because contrary to the rest of the will it stay or will it go teasers, SkyScreamer said will it stay or will it go, or both. And the only way for an attraction to leave but also stay is for an attraction to get moved somewhere else in the park. And it's very interesting if SkyScreamer will get moved, because clearly there's a reason behind it. So obviously a lot is going on, and many have suggested that a new coaster is coming to Fiesta Texas, which is absolutely insane because that means they have 2 consecutive years of getting new roller coasters back to back. 2022 we got Cliffhanger, this year we got Kid Flash Cosmic Coaster, and now we might have 2024. And not gonna lie, I myself was expecting a big roller coaster for Fiesta Texas, and my predictions range from a B&M Hyper to a multi-launch to even a wooden coaster. But then we have this teaser that came out. In the Fiesta Texas History and Math teasers, the caption underneath has continued to grow. From references to R.L. Stine, the creator of Goosebumps, to the most interesting thing on the bottom that says WSJ, June 3rd, 2023. And if you Google it, WSJ actually stands for Wall Street Journal, and the article will surprise you. In a very big and bold headline, it states Six Flags has a new summer attraction. It's not a roller coaster. It is a very surprising announcement, but essentially we are not getting a roller coaster for Fiesta Texas next year. It's so clear to the point that why would Jeffery Siebert lie about that? He's very clear and concise with all his teasers, and him saying it's not a roller coaster means it's not a roller coaster. So the real question is, why have all these teasers and all this build up just for a regular flat ride? Well, I think it's a little bit more than that. The recent teasers, as always, have given us a lot, and a lot of new places to investigate. The Screenpunk District is now a place of interest, as Foghorn Leghorn Barnyard Railway now has markers behind it, as well as Rockville, as in the teaser video. 2 coordinates were hinted, and if you zoom in you find out that those 2 coordinates are in front of Hustler and behind Hustler in that empty plot of land between Batman the Ride, which has a very interesting connection to an old teaser where Jeffery Siebert showed off some artwork in the Six Flags office that contains locations from Rockville, the Screenpunk District, and the Boardwalk. So what is a new attraction or attractions? You heard that right, attractions. I have a few predictions, but my first one is that Fiesta Texas might be getting 3 new attractions. And the reasoning behind this is in the teasers. In the Fiesta Texas History and Math teaser, we finally have the revealed first date that adds up to 2024, which is 2016. And for those who don't know, in the year 2016, Fiesta Texas got 3 new attractions in the Boardwalk section. which were Fireball, Spinsanity, and Hurricane Force 5. And with all the teaser's main reference being history repeats itself, this could mean 3 new attractions for Fiesta, Texas. Or it could just mean another addition for the Boardwalk section, since after all, even if Pandemonium is not leaving, there's space behind Hurricane Force 5 for a brand new attraction. Although hypothetically, if it were 3 new flat rides, I think it'd be a little bit different than 3 flat rides close together, since there really isn't space for that. So one theory is that they instead put the 3 flat rides in 3 different locations around the park. But I'm not too set on that theory, especially with the brand new teaser that came out today, showcasing some demolition and adjustments going on in the park that are very intriguing and spark my next theory. With Jeffery Siebert already saying it's not a roller coaster, that does leave a few options. A dark ride, a flat ride, a unique coaster, but what about a park expansion? Yes, this seems like a crazy idea, but if you look at the teasers deeper, it actually makes sense. The very first poem started with the ride being dismantled and moving to a place unseen. And there are some places in Fiesta, Texas that are unseen by some attractions. The second clue is the reference of moving attractions, and the teaser literally saying we're moving, which we all thought meant Batman the Ride would be going to Frontier City. And while that still could happen, the chance of a ride being moved somewhere else in the park is pretty likely, because Jeffery Siebert has done it multiple times. The old Frisbee attraction was moved over before it got dismantled, and the Slingshot attraction used to be located in Scream Punk District before going to the Boardwalk, so it's not impossible. Not to mention, in the most recent poem, it literally says, with loops and cues now neatly aligned and twisted in their place, thrill seekers now cheered as they soared through the new space. This makes me think 2 things. Number 1, a new space means a new area that opened up, but also it's weird phrasing that he said soar through the new space, which could reference an attraction that'll make you fly, or just in general zip through the new area. So where will this new area be located? Well, there are a few options: the Scream Punk District, the Boardwalk. But my personal theory is that this new area will take place in the Los Festivales section near the front of the park. This seems completely out of left field, but it actually makes a lot of sense, and here's why. Even way before the clues started, the first clue was hidden in plain sight, which is the location of the FT92 fan event. If you notice, the FT92 fan event is hosted in different locations around the park every year. In 2021, it was in Lone Star Lils. In 2022, it was in Rockville. And some may say it has no pattern, but actually it does. Lone Star Lils was next to Cliffhanger, which was going to be announced. Rockville is close to Kidzopolis, where Kid Flash would go. And this year, for some particular reason, the FT92 fan event will be in the Zaragoza Theater, near the front of the park in the Los Festivales section. Not to mention, in the fan event poster, they have Goliath in the picture, which is the first time they put a coaster in a picture for the FT92 fan event. The previous years have just been the logo alone. And you know what's also very interesting? The fact that when Jeffery Siebert revealed that Skyrocket 2 for next year, it was located right next to Goliath, in that little picnic area between Zaragoza and Goliath. And like we previously said, it's not a Skyrocket 2, it was probably just original plans that never came to fruition. But what if now they finally are? Maybe now it's Skyrocket 2, but plans to finally use that space, which means the expansion is coming. And it makes total sense because that area next to Goliath is pretty dead, it just has the coaster, literally nothing else. And for a park that has lots of theming, why not add theming to that little area next to Goliath and make it its own zone? And to add the nail to the coffin, the area by Goliath is relatively unseen and many people miss it when walking in. A land unseen, a new embrace, a new pathway. Doesn't that sound familiar? So my prediction, yes, some rides will be moved around, and that's something separate, but as for the new addition for 2024, it'll be located in that area next to Zaragoza and Goliath, with that area also receiving lots of theming. And as for the new addition, he did say it was not a coaster, but he also said it was another first for Six Flags, so it's definitely going to be something special and possibly a world's first. They could use the Zaragoza Theater for a brand new dark ride, and that's definitely an option, or they add some sort of unique thrill ride next to Goliath, and it'll definitely be one of the manufacturers on this list. Not to mention, I'm definitely keeping an eye out for GCI, as in a recent teaser he said, did you notice the teaser within the teaser, with the top saying many great options, like Great Coasters International, GCI. But in result, it's very confusing, and even I'm confused at this point. Regardless, we only have to wait a few more days now for the big announcement, and if you want to be the first to hear about it, be sure to subscribe and have notification bells to know when new videos come out on my channel, as I will cover the big announcement. Anyways, those are my final predictions, and if you want to share your predictions, comment down below. Anyways, thank you for watching. This is JB Thrills signing out.